And now for something completely different.
It is now recording. All right. All right. We'll see how this goes.
It goes.
Okay.
It goes.
Oh.
It's called sexual harassment.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
good at it.
I like it. So what are we doing today, Jingles?
Today
We're doing some stuff, right?
We're gonna talk about sloth climbing. We're gonna talk about sloth climbing. The camera's that way.
Oh.
I know that this is interesting, but the camera's that way.
Okay.
I'm in a goofy ass mood today. I couldn't tell you why.
Just to know that if I was taller, stronger, and bigger, I would throw you over.
Sounds fun.
And just take full advantage of whatever happens.
So what are we doing today?
Today we're going to talk about sloth climbing.
Hell yeah.
Sloth climbing is an amazing exercise.
And
it's also really, really
a
simple.
horrible exercise at the same time.
That's only if you're an idiot, or if you're a person, or if you're alive.
I
At
am
all.
all of those things, just so you guys know.
So sloth climbing is a very simple exercise. We've all seen how David talks about sloths. Love that dude.
Love that dude. He's kind of cute.
Sloth climbing is just trying to mimic a sloth. You are just moving very slowly.
As slow as you can, pretty much.
And if you notice when sloths climb too, they don't really stop. So it is a slow, continuous movement throughout whatever it is you're climbing.
Yeah.
And I love it.
You also need to notice that sloths are always in control of what they are doing while they are slowly moving.
They're not flopping around?
No. So sloths climb 100% in control and aware of every movement that they're making. So you need to think about that when you're sloth climbing.
The difference between us and sloths, though, is that sloths generally are extended out one way or another. We will not be extended out all the time. We're going to have muscles engaged. So what is sloth climbing actually good for? What do you think of all the things that it does, which we're going to talk about? What do you think the most important thing is that it does for you?
It forces you to find the most convenient way and efficient way to do a move, because you're not going to continuously do a move that just sucks.
No. You can't, if you can't dyno your way through something, if you can't do a dynamic move through something, if you can't power your way through something in a dynamic motion at all, how do you do the move? And if you are going to be keeping your body engaged and you're going to be doing things, you have to find the most efficient and practical way to do the move.
And comfortable.
Because
you're going to be there for a minute while you're doing this movement. You're going to just be hanging out thinking about how much it sucks.
So as you're doing this climbing, you will have a lot of time to think, a lot of time to figure out what it is that's going to be going, what's going to be happening. You'll be looking up and down and around, trying to figure out what you have available and what you need. And during all that entire time, 5 seconds may have passed and you're still in the same hole trying to figure out how you want to move.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really like about sloth climbing is that it I guess it does. It forces all of your weaknesses to the surface, and they are just like, it exposes them all like immediately.
Well, you can't hide them because everything takes so long. When you're a dynamic climber and you pop through a movement, people go, did he use his feet or not? And it's like, he wasn't there long enough for me to tell. So we don't know anymore. And now when that guy has to slow down, you're like, oh, he doesn't, keep his core tight. He doesn't engage his shoulders. He doesn't use his feet. And there are just so many different things of like, they just jump out at you way more aggressively.
Yep. And what we mean by the weaknesses, like let's break it down. It's like the physical weaknesses.
Yep.
This thing, sloth climbing exposes where you are physically weak. If you're weak in your shoulders, you're going to feel it because they're going to constantly be engaged, or you're going to be relaxing them and then re-engaging them a lot throughout the movement.
You're going to hurt for a couple days, not just like, I climbed yesterday, so I'm sore. It's like, no, you're going to be like a week later. It's like, oh my God, my shoulders still hurt because I did everything wrong.
Now, with that being said, that is going to be something that you will feel if you're new to climbing.
Yes.
If you're new to this exercise, if you've been climbing for a while, you'll feel it kind of like a normal workout. But once you get used to it, it will just be a normal thing that doesn't bother you as much. Just like any other workout.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to start running right now, after about a mile, I would gas out and probably die. But if I did it a few times, I might be able to get a mile and a half, 2 miles, 3 miles, and get comfortable,
Absolutely.
and then move on. So this is the same thing.
Yeah.
Not only is it'll expose whether you're weak in your fingers or not, because when you grab a hold of something, again, you're going to be there a while. You do have the option and some time to adjust, but you're still going to be on that hold for a while. One of those things, again, if you're a new climber, this is going to be difficult to work on.
Oh yeah.
It's going to hurt your forearms.
Oh yeah, it's going to hurt your entire body as you're climbing through this, and that's kind of the point of it. But it's also a thing of like, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner or an expert climber, you can still do this.
You can dial in a lot of your technique with this exercise, and this is one of the another thing that sloth climbing exposes on whether or not you are a technical climber. Because again, like we talked about earlier, you've got to find the best position to do these things, or you're going to get burnt out really, really fast. If you're trying to do this every single time you're trying to move up and you're pulling up, well, guess what's going to get tired really freaking fast?
Your entire upper body, and it's going to suck.
So you've got to figure out how to lean into a hold, how to be effective with your building your feet and extending yourself out when you're moving these things. So it exposes your technical weaknesses and forces you to work on them.
Absolutely. And it's gonna build your mental strength. It's gonna build your confidence, because you're gonna end up getting to a point when you're sloth climbing where you're like, holy crap, I just did that move and it felt good. Even though it took me 5 seconds to do it, I was able to do that. So I'm more of a badass than I thought.
And it's not just the move itself. Sloth climbing will force you to work on your mental weaknesses when it comes to your foot placement. Like a lot of people, especially when they're new to climbing, or when they've been climbing for a while and are used to using their arms, not used to using their feet, they don't trust that their feet will actually be able to do a thing. So they don't want to weight that foot. Sloth climbing forces you to weight that foot, because again, you're on it for 2, 3, 5, 8, 10 seconds, depending on how slow you're moving and what you're doing. So you have to work on your mental fortitude to just stay focused and engaged on the movement, as well as it'll work on your mental weaknesses on whether or not you know the position you want to get in. Like, can you do this move or not? Is it something that you trust your body to do? Is it something that you can figure? Can you figure out how to do it the most effective way? You might try a route 4 or 5 times and then do it differently every single time.
That's how I normally end up doing it. After you finally learn that you can trust your body as you're going through these movements, you're going to start pulling out all of the technical skills that you've learned, because you're going to be like, hey, I can actually start to do this because I just did, and I did it really slow and really in control. And then
you're placing your feet, you're learning how to grab, and you have to grab and hold, and you have to grab, hold, and pull and maintain when you're having to twist around. Twisting slow around a small hold is
that's rough.
It can be a very difficult thing, but learning how to switch those feet, how to rotate around in control, in smooth, it's a great way to learn how to trust that body. Not just that body, but your body.
Yes. Because it's just
so stupid. I hate myself.
But I loved it. Yeah.
But it's accurate, but it's so dumb.
It is accurate, because like you'll end up doing the movement, and then you're just like, I keep going back to you'll be like, holy crap, I just pulled that off. Because sloth climbing that's not the way you climb. The way that we've trained all of you guys to do anything that we've done so far is not how you are going to actually climb a route. But it's a way of unlocking the skills so that you can climb a route well.
And that's what the sloth climbing will do. It forces you to learn how to use those skills. So everything we've gone over, how to use your inside, your big toe to instep and pull, how to place your feet correctly so you don't have to constantly readjust. Because constantly readjust when you're on a bad foot and bad holds and trying to do it the right way or find a better spot takes so long. So you take the time
sloth climbing
to do it right. And then learning how, again, to twist around, how to backstep, how to push, how to extend, how to build those feet, how to switch feet, how to smear step. All the stuff that we've talked about in our previous videos comes to light.
Yeah.
It is exacerbated in this video. It brings everything together and shows you that everything that we've taught you so far has a real life and real good, a real life practical purpose, as opposed to I'm climbing like a robot. This is dumb.
Yeah,
it is dumb, and it is dumb.
Well,
you're right.
And it's dumb, but it's fun because it'll kick you in the ass and it'll make you realize, oh, hey, I can do this and this and this. And I guess I can climb harder and better because I did the thing.
Yep. And sloth climbing also allows you to, I know we already talked about mental weaknesses, but it gives you the time to figure out how you want to do the move. Especially if you're doing it in a continuous way, like straight arm climbing and shift and stand climbing. We did a lot of pausing, trying to figure out how to get to what you want to do. Sloth climbing, as you're watching, will show you that you can continuously move and figure something out. But you don't. The important thing is, once you do a thing, it doesn't mean you have to commit to doing that thing.
Yeah, you can
Sloth
back off.
climbing will force you to be like, oh, this was a bad choice. So you readjust your foot and rethink your body position. But if you're constantly moving, you're keeping everything engaged and you're working the sequence, and your brain is forced to actually start working. And instead of like newer climbers trying to just hold on and stay on the wall, now you're thinking, okay, what do I do with my feet? Because I got to go that way. So what do I do? And once you start thinking about that, your arms will start to relax into a comfortable position. So whether you want to learn how to get into a good position or not, sloth climbing sort of forces or encourages the body to learn how to do it, because doing this sucks for a long time. But once you learn how to relax into it while still engaging, then you can learn how to do things in a more technical, a more smooth, and a more fluid way of doing things, which is amazing. I love it.
Well, and it's like you said, it forces you. You've got to stay engaged the entire time you were doing this. You are not going to end up at any point in this doing something you don't want to do. You have to do everything with intent and with purpose, because if you don't, you're just going to gas yourself out in half a second,
And on gassing yourself out, another thing that sloth climbing will help you do is learn how to breathe correctly. And I know if you've ever had a coaching session with me, and I know I've seen you do it as well, is we talk a lot about breathing early on. I know we haven't talked about it basically at all in this first couple of sessions, but sloth climbing is where we normally bring it up in our normal sessions. Breathing, and what we want you to do is in through your nose, out through your mouth, and using your diaphragm and not your chest. And I think we're going to go over that in a little bit more detail in the future, but that is how we want you to breathe when sloth climbing. You're not trying to overload your blood with oxygen, or you're not trying to deprive it. You're trying to breathe slow and controlled, not like when you're doing yoga.
Consistently, absolutely. Yeah. Well, and so, but that's the other thing is when you can breathe relaxed going through a hard sequence, you realize how much your core is actually working and how much breathing is engaging your core as you're working. If you're breathing through your chest, your core doesn't want to engage as much, which is why we want the diaphragm to get used more. And it really does. And it's not something that you really think about when it comes to climbing in general.
And a lot of times when you're climbing, when you're breathing sort of like when you're weightlifting. You're inhaling, and then when you exert, you go. Whew. You can do a lot of that when you're climbing, and especially when you're climbing at a normal pace, a normal rhythm. And when you're having power, and when you're using the body correctly all the time, that is how you breathe. You breathe with your movement. A lot of times with sloth climbing, you have to learn how to breathe through a movement and even through another one, because you're doing multiple moves in what would normally be an exhale and grab move. Now you're doing an extension, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And you've only done 2 moves in 5 breaths.
I'm going to bring it back to the yoga thing of what you're saying right there is the breathing through the movement. Sloth climbing, when you do it properly, will put you into almost a meditative state, because you're breathing as you're staying engaged, as you're moving, as you're thinking. You have to stay focused on all of your movement, not just your breathing. What's my right hand doing? What's my left hand doing? Are my shoulders engaged the way they should be? Am I breathing in and out? And the next thing you know, you're just flowing through the movement.
And meditating isn't necessarily like, there's different types of meditating.
Oh, 100%.
And the way that we're talking about it, it really is being in the moment of your movement and your breath, which really sounds highly new agey thing for me. It's not my general style, but that's 100% how the body wants to work when you're doing this exercise.
That's not new agey. That's almost a Buddhist principle of being in the here and now. And that's where happiness truly is, you know? So
that's what we're talking about with the meditative state, as far as how the body is moving and how the brain is engaged. We don't necessarily need you to focus on your third eye and zone out. No, it's more of a be in the moment and be where you're at.
And enjoy your moment and enjoy where you're at, because climbing is beautiful.
Yeah.
Love it.
And so not necessarily the last, but one of the things that I also really like about sloth climbing is that it will help you guide your climbing journey, for lack of a better way of saying it. Because if you are a new climber and you're trying this exercise, then you're going to be, like we said earlier, you're going to be physically exhausted. So sloth climbing will show you where you are physically weak, so that if you want to do cross training, you can do something else. If you're really weak in your fingers, maybe you need to do some hangboarding exercises, or you need to work on endurance. So you just need to climb more volume, maybe at a lower intensity type thing. Maybe you find that your core is constantly not engaging, or your shoulders aren't engaging. So you need to work on exercises that will build those in there.
Do some yoga.
So maybe you find out that you're not physically flexible enough to bring your hand to your foot in a position that is the most efficient way to do something. And you need to figure out, I'm not as flexible. So you need to do more yoga, more exercises that really work on your hip and shoulder flexibility. Like,
there's so much you get out of sloth climbing. It's impressive.
You'll find out, like I said, it exposes your weaknesses. So you will see, as you're climbing through these, what you're bad at, what you need to improve on, and you're also going to find out what you're actually good at.
Absolutely. And it doesn't matter how long you've been climbing or what grade you climb. You can sloth climb on a 12A if you want to. I'm not going to ask you to, but if you're a 13A climber and you're like, I need to figure out where I'm weak, sloth climb a 12A in your gym and tell me what you think about it. As long as there's no dynos in that 12A, I should specify that, because that's going to make it real hard to sloth climb a dyno.
Yeah, dynamic movement is the opposite of sloth climbing, and it is what a lot of us like to do. It's how we can save some energy, and momentum is easy. Momentum is a great way to climb in control and to climb with purpose. Yeah. Because if you do it well, you can pop and rest and grab into a next move, so you can boing into a move, and it's really good, and it's comfortable,
nice. And it looks cool,
and everyone stares at you the whole time.
Absolutely. So why wouldn't you want to? Well, because you can do this and find out different movement and more fun things, and get better.
Sloth climbing probably is one of my favorite exercises that I make people do, just to get them to open their eyes to see what they're actually capable of doing in a static and technical way. Once you learn how to use your feet and you build your technique up and you feel confident in yourself, which is something that sloth climbing definitely helps with, then you will be able to trust yourself on a lot more things, especially the dynamic movement. Sloth climbing is also just in general a great workout. You're going to work out, you can do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different climbs at different levels for wherever you're comfortable at, and get a good workout and building all the muscles that you're weak in. And I just think it's one of the best exercises that you can do to get. It's kind of the whole package. You want to know where you suck at physically? Sloth climb. You want to know where you suck at mentally and technically? Sloth climb, and figure that out.
You want to know what your favorite type of climbing is? Sloth climb. Because you're going to end up going, this 10-degree overhang wall that took me 7 minutes to climb 40 feet. God, that was the most fun I've had climbing in forever.
Or you're going to find out that you hate that, and you're like, man, I just wanted to jump every time I did something. Maybe you're more of a dynamic climber. Maybe you like that, but you're going to see it.
You're going to figure it out real fast.
All right, so hopefully we've sold you on sloth climbing, and hopefully while watching the videos that we've got going on and that we have been showing, that you'll understand that what we're actually trying to get into. Again, sloth climbing by itself, by its inane nature, is very simple. All you have to do is move slow. That's it. But the moment you try to move fast, you're wrong. The moment your body flops, you're wrong. The moment that you have to do something, I don't want to say intense, but something that requires a lot more than you would have thought, you're probably wrong, depending on what it is.
For the most part, if you're grunting while you're sloth climbing,
you're probably wrong.
You're not doing it right. If you're sloth climbing a 12A and you're grunting, you might be. There can be small holds on that make you grunt.
So what is our definition of slow?
So one thing I always told the kids is from the second you let go of something to the second you touch something again, it needs to be at least 3 seconds.
Yep. And the newer a climber you are, the less time in between moves that may actually be, and the more experienced or the stronger climber you may be, the more time you can give it.
Mm-hmm.
What I say is one of the goals for sloth climbing as just an overall training guide is move as slow as you comfortably can throughout the route. If you start off going between holds, aim to do that with everything. And it's not just hands, it's your feet, it's your core, hips. It's everything. Everything you want to do. Anything that is moving has to be done in control, under your power, under your decision.
Under your decision. And that even means looking. You're not going to be here and go, because you're not going to mentally get where you need to be to actually get what you need out of this exercise. You're looking at your foot, you're letting go, and you're slowly looking up until you finally see that hold, and then you're aiming at it, and you're going to get to it. That's the idea behind this. Everything is intentional. As I said, if you do something that you did not intend to do, you didn't do sloth climbing right. Everything is intentional. Everything.
So hopefully you'll find that everything we've asked you to do in the previous videos, excuse me, I have some gas. Excuse me. Everything that we've asked you to do in the previous videos will show again that it has a practical and real life purpose and shows itself in the static movement that you're going to be doing on sloth climbing. So go as slow as you comfortably can from start to finish and be in control. That's the goal. Anything that happens that you find out that you are not good at or need to work on, use that afterwards. Focus on the movement that you're doing. Let that be the thing. Stay in the moment, stay in the flow, and just do as much as you can. If you have to stop halfway through because you just can't do it, then stop halfway through, rest, and get back on and do it later, or start at the beginning and go over again. It doesn't really matter. The point is to move in control and move slow and enjoy the movement as best you can for an exercise that is, in fact, difficult.
Kind of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice, but
I'm gonna
just be honest.
The
just be honest.
Is a pain in the ass. So I hope all of this helps you understand what we're doing here and what climbing is happening.
Good luck practicing.
Enjoy it.
Thank you, Tanner.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.